Okay, I did it. I made it. I'm just gonna pause a little. What's up? Okay, I got this going. Cool. Is this still what it's showing? It's not changed on this website. And, weather forecast. Where's the frickin'? Just thinking about some shit that happened today. That's a look at this. So this is headed right here. I'm in Sarasota. So I was thinking about streaming. The storm, and we'll see what happens. But this is not about the storm. This is about shaligrams, although possibly related. I don't know. Things I think about. Like, could it be? I don't know. Oh no. Like the thought, could shaligrams have some kind of energetic external pressure, like outward pressure, and ethereally in some way that is in balance in the Himalayas but is not in balance in Florida? I sometimes think about that. I don't know why it would abruptly matter. So, there's a bunch of new shaligrams on this website, which is awesome. Sweet. I don't know how far I've talked about before. I guess I should just start talking about shaligrams. Oh my god. Horrific historic hurricane moving closer to the west coast of Florida tonight. Milton remains with anticipated landfall happening late Wednesday. Pinellas County. Pinellas County. Oh. St. Pete and Clearwater. Tarpon Springs. does seem to be where it's going right now. Dear God, this whole fucking area. I'll talk about Shaligram soon. Whoa. Oh my God. This might not do so well. Fuck. I'm over somewhere. Say in this area, like over here. Like past here, but before here, in that area. I don't want to be like, here I am. But it's pretty damn close. What the? My stream just did something weird. Hopefully it's still working. Seems to still be live. Okay. Okay, guys. Welcome, anyone who may or may not be there at any point. Appreciate you hanging out. I thought I'd talk about some shaligrams, because there's really cool ones. I don't know why I'm gonna, like, pause and do this. I kinda should be going to bed, honestly. It's 12:30. Okay, so let's check out some shaligrams. I haven't really looked at them. I believe we've talked about through some of these. I don't even know. I was not planning on talking about back this far, so maybe, like, there's a lot. I think the most recent, let's just start here, whatever. I might have talked about this one before. I'll just do it in very rapidly. Lots of surface currents, some interesting shapes like over here. The way where the ammonite is, or whatever this is, because it's kind of weird. Where this is kind of flat looking, relatively. Like, it looks like there's more flatness to it in this area particularly. And maybe up here where there's, like, bubble type surface roughness. And then this has, like, side pillars and then openings back there, like 2 chakras on the side almost of a main chakra. Going up. I don't know. It's curious, but not that exciting. There's definitely some really cool ones, so let's keep going. I mean, not to take away from it. It's awesome, but let's keep going. I don't know what to make about it. I was kind of looking at all these details on it. It's got a lot of details. It's hard to... This image is interesting. They do tend to have, like, faces. It's really curious. Relationships of currents that tend to be certain ways, I guess. including faces. Okay, let's just move past this one because I don't know. Actually, maybe look more closely at the ammonite specifically. Because it has interesting features, like a little pore here, pore here, pore here, pore there maybe. Possibly another there, like related to this one. Suggestive of current flows. It also has surface patterns on here. Whatever's going on over here. A little thing at the top of the lobe over there. Like a chakra, I guess. Okay, other features, but I haven't really thought about it. I don't know if there's great angles at that specific area exactly. I think that was maybe the, oh no, we definitely rotate, okay. Pardon me, sir, I'm so rude. I don't know if there's great angles and freaking laying down epic shots. And I'm like, oh wow. There's some in here, though, that really are why I wanted to stream, I guess. So this one, let's start with this one. Because it's incredible. Little butt cheeks. Big ol'... Let's see, what's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I guess, let's see, let's try to make out where that is. Because it's not like related, that divot path here is definitely not related to this ammonite directly. It's incredible. Oh my god. Oh my god, dudes. Let's see. So let's start by looking at this. I like it says clear. You guys can't see that, maybe. Clear showing single opening having 3 chakras. So we got a chakra here. But then inside it we have a chakra here. So maybe let's do it like this. You know what that was? I don't know. Gambling on whatever the fuck. Free money. Oh, free money. I'll just give away my biometrics for 50 cents a day. That's how I add some supplemental income. Oh my god. Okay, whatever. So there's this. We've got, interestingly, chambers here. Chamber here that are part of this ammonite structure, it seems, but this is a negative. That's weird. So I guess it's like remnants on the top, let's say. because it's too related to this ammonite to be part of that one directly. And then there's a boundary here that kind of goes that way. That's interesting. But then over here, I would like to see this better. It really looks like a chakra with layers forming there. Chakra going down to like literally like a chakra over here. But it's unclear. Oh my god. And the way it flows, this is incredible. Like it narrows and then goes to this secondary pseudo, let's say, chakra, and then narrows though and does some like almost like a shrimp looking thing. I don't know, something off like the body of some kind of shrimp type thing, like a mass. I don't know if that's in any way looks like a shrimp in reality. It just makes me think of it almost like it's seeding eddies off of the eddies like tail end. So there's an eddy in the aqua that is seeding an eddy over here in the red that's kind of was like going in and out around this area, maybe interacting with this one, but this was so dominant back here that it probably just overwhelmed it entirely, which is why this one's like a pseudo chakra and this is a clear and distinct chakra here. It just overwhelmed. The eddy over here and went past its boundary as much as it could, I guess. But like there's an eddy there, so forming a chakra still. So it's definitely interacting as it approaches there, but and then the chakras really go. How do seashells of creatures do this? Two physical shells. One of them is like this. Like in terms of top down looking at and let's add a little bit of a like chakra aspect to it. Whatever, close enough. But like cross section of it now. So we have a ammonite here, but it's like basically more like a tube in a just looking at it like in reality. I had a shell around somewhere. I guess. Whatever. You know what I'm saying. I don't know why I do like trivial things like this. You know why. Come on, dude. It's making a mountain out of a molehill. I'm just doing the thing. I don't know. Alright. So, but then this aqua one imprints onto the matrix of this stone, which I guess we can draw as red. So there's some matrix that like it goes into there, but underneath it as well, kind of thing, and across. And then this other, so chakras are like this. So like there's a chakra like right here. So let's say like chakra, like in a lobe. Oops, I'm drawing that the wrong way. Oh yeah, that's why. Almost have to draw it, the chakra, into the paper. So like, or into whatever. So it's kind of, that's like, just thinking if I can draw it this way, yeah. So doing it the same way, instead of drawing like a circle or whatever, but doing it the same way as this, having a chakra. Yeah, I mean, basically, like I was first doing it, it just kind of was so weird. I thought, no, this can't be. But like this. Like, it should be here, is my point. Like, even though the chakra is like there and there, like off of the red. The whole of the ammonite should extend further. It's clearly like very close to the boundary. Like just down, not far down, not far enough down that the entirety of a shell could be like within the space. It must have extended further. So the only explanation is the shell, boop, was broken. And conveniently, this happened. It's all convenience. Boop, shell broke. Guys, there's too many shaligrams that prove that's not what's happening. Like this one. Boop, shell broke and they perfectly aligned against one another for their length where they are abutting one another. Boop. How convenient. How that the shell broke it the perfect way that the top and bottom would both align with one another. Wow. How convenient. Or, never mind that this is pointing up at the top here. That's just convenience as well. Well, it provided support while the surroundings eroded, and that was why this eroded like that. So, what about Mr. this guy? Why did this happen? Why did it erode the matrix like this? It's just matrix. It's irrelevant. It's just around a seashell. There's no reason a seashell surrounded by matrix with water erosion by a river would create the nuance of this. Or of this. or of this. Interestingly, this green is kind of opening up, like dot dot dot, and possibly dot dot dot, like that way. Some kind of like energy going out this way into the stone that way. That it was like trying to build another lobe outward. But all it did was made a shock rub over there, maybe. These ribs are probably not like just wrapping around in a chakra way. They're probably more linear, like more like this, where they might be related to some kind of like just current flow paths that we're passing, but also somewhat eddying around a central mass that was basically not being eroded by the pressures. It was like the eye of the storm of the eddy, so it went around it, did not erode it. So that's one aspect of this stone. You can see it a little different in there. It looks like there's erosion in there, like there's maybe even another like chakra, maybe like some kind of energetic coupling, a bond that is pretty much what a chakra is, between two sides of energy flows where some eddy formed. Not streaming to Twitch. How sad. I might have done that to myself by publishing or by linking a YouTube link for a movie that probably wasn't supposed to be up on YouTube. Permanent suspension. Totally reasonable. Totally reasonable. What would not be reasonable would be to say, delete that post. No. Permanent. Out of here, you broke the rules. Anyway, let me not sidetrack. This has really cool ribs in here. Looks like there's also some semblance of whatever's going on in there. Some eddy that was like going into the stone, I guess, or out of. That also went along its surface and possibly through it there. It seems this also has, oh my god, I didn't even notice. This Shaligram is incredible. Here it just looks like these things. Like that's what really grabs my attention, is these things. And then this one has this back here that kind of seems to relate to it. Whatever it is. Definitely some nuance to its shape of interest. And then this seems to have like a chakra type thing here relative to it. That goes out this way like a lobe. That seems to have some boundary where it had something happen. Also like another tier out that way. Holy crap, this is fascinating. And then it's got that like central current that frequently happens in shaligrams. In the ammonites, like out that way, and then just this boundary here. But then this boundary goes like this. Let's say something like this. And then if I follow it this way and kind of like there's chambers that are generally trying, let's say, to wrap in an Ammonite way, but then over here they like become more linear seeming. So there's kind of like a chamber here, maybe a chamber somewhat there. So it's got a Ammonite trying to form over here, an Ammonite trying to form in a different plane over here. This other interacting aspect to it. Like this line, maybe, like that, the way that line is there. Seems like related. Throw on top of it just the general shape over here. Is very much like an Ammonite. I'm not doing it very well, but maybe up, like even across there though, for some reason I feel, but also extending, like interacting up there, but having like a boundary in this area, and then like in some kind of channel, it seems, and then like a shape to it. That's more like that head kind of thing that we saw in the other one. Or head at the, on the tail, or maybe it's the head, I don't know. Possibly here related as well to this one. It's like, oops. Oh, it did not draw well. There's more there. Whatever I was trying to draw over. These lines are interesting as well. I'm like, a hurricane's coming, dude. So I'm fucking drawing lines on a Shaligram with probably, I don't think anyone's there. It says one viewer, and that's probably a Twitch bot viewer. That seems to always be there, one viewer. Seems to always be. So I'm literally drawing lines to presently. I mean, I know like later on, subdudes later on. Something of this nature seems to also be here. I don't know, I'm just noticing some details. Okay, so now we've got some interesting things that we notice here. It's hard to even piece together the whole of this Shaligram when looking at it from all these angles. This must go down, down, down to that hole. Speaking of hole, without the W. Without this W, when we remove the W, we get the hole. Oh, it's fascinating. It's almost too, like it's crinkled. Like here, like if it kept going this way, la 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 la, nope, it crinkle kind of thing. Like bends it down against this resistance. Like it was really going this way, but there's resistance right here of a current that like bends it down. This to do like fill in over here more and like flows to generally like turn maybe. Possibly to turn both ways. Seems like something like that. If you look at, like, the way it has this, like, head over here, it kind of has one here. I feel like, in a way that it looks almost like Knuckles. Which reminds me of the Shaligram we saw recently. I don't know if I can find it. Don't know if I can find it. But basically, it had a center that instead of having more of this roundedness, it was more like Knuckles, like hard corners. Just gotta take my word for it that such Shaligrams are common. So seeing it like this kind of makes me think of that kind of thing going on as well. And that this is here. So current is flowing in probably into the stone to do this. Like some beam of current out of some other stone, I guess. Between pressures. I don't know if it's out of another stone. I don't know. If it was out of another stone, then it would be just potentially either. But I feel like it's going into the stone. To be making this ammonite over here strongly suggests into the stone that it was basically trying to make a chakra this way. So like all these ammonites are generally forming like a chakra here. Maybe I'll do it in blue, like a chakra like this. Something there. And maybe across that way or something. Less like influencing into this region where this other eddy was dominant. But over here, this eddy was dominant. That was like trying to make a chakra here, but into the stone along that plane rather than along the plane of this red one's eddy. That seemingly like was being seeded by this current, I guess. Like, so one current flowing in over here and another current flowing in over here, directly adjacent but spaced. Possibly. Or maybe this goes through. I don't know. Like this is maybe an outlet with an inlet somewhere else. I feel like something about the stone around its boundary is a little too like outletty. Like over here it erodes around the boundary more and like less inward, whereas here the boundary actually is saved, almost like it was coming out through a nozzle type of shape that narrows, and then it didn't have to expand the influence outward to actually erode exactly to the boundary of this structure because it has made enough space for the current to flow through. So it just left like a boundary structure there, whereas over here it actually eroded the boundary and pushed out the boundary while going in. So maybe it actually went out here, in here, because they do look like there's like a coupling between them with like a chakra type thing, where it literally went out here in relationship to this ammonite in some fashion. It's maybe one of the crossing currents that's creating an eddy there. But then going out this way and in here to then like splash out this way and create another sort of chakra here. but like deflecting off of this path across and going down this way, seemingly related to the turning up here, maybe. Then applying more of a current that way, which then was related to this one, flowing seemingly towards us along this direction, just based on like this bend and it pushing this way. I might just be, that's just supposing at this point. It might be that this following this back around is actually reaching through to these in some way. So remember, we're seeing like chambers like here. So do we see chambers around this one? I don't know if it's like distinct, but it seems like there's some possible regions of whatever erosion is around this, as well as this is kind of rounded into like a donut looking shape, like an ammonite. So it kind of looks like an ammonite was forming here. It's an ammonite forming here that literally has a connection from it through the other side down here. So it's definitely like forming here, but like a current flowing down that's eddying and into the stone, but then like making its way actually through the stone, like down into it, and deeply enough that it seems to have created like quite the crevice. I don't like push beyond the chakra's typical location. Although that maybe would make the ammonite larger in shape ultimately, at least in like height. And then overflow, like going this way. So whatever current is drilling into this is probably going this way. And then overflowing down this path. To go down this way. Or I guess it could be going up this way and running into a current like up here. Because I'm looking at this, the way these are, look more like a current was flowing this way. And then running into a current flowing across this way. Which then maybe ran into another current going up this way, like this one, but like outside of the stone over here. Which then would have basically created an eddy on the top here. And then maybe drilled in through there to create like a drainage path. Which maybe interacted over here too. Currents were flowing through this Shaligram in ways that I have not seen before, honestly. Like it's enough ammonites to be like distinct when they're interacting with one another, but not too many to be overwhelmingly like hard to decipher all of their interactions. So it seems like inside this stone, relating to this inflowing current that's drilling in here, that probably was going this way, like along this path, and also here, like part of the current went here. But also up that way. down and through. The fact that it's doing this strongly suggests also like it really gripping, which would not like a rope. Like a current passing by something is kind of like a rope laying on top of something. Even if the rope gets really taut, and maybe it, or like a hose that like physically grows in radius and pushes outward, like it's gonna create pressure. But it's not the same as like a rope that like literally goes through here, out and around, and like wraps through and gets tightened around the stone. I don't know exactly how, by ammonites, maybe by eddies that are like attached to the stone, in the stone, being forced together by the current flows that like generally don't energetically want to be near each other. Like they're generally pushing against each other, but are attached still in a way where the current is flowing between them. Then because they're attached, it like cuts like a actual pulling of a rope, making it tightened. Possibly something of that nature might be at play when things of this nature happen. Just the thought this rock gave me. Lots of other features. I should probably go to bed in the not too distant future. This was the one I really was most excited about, but I haven't even looked at a lot of them. I was like, I should stream. I'm just really tired. I've been freaking trying to prepare for a hurricane. We didn't have siding, or we don't have shutters, even though we did. Fuck. So I tried to get wood, and they were totally out at Home Depot. Holy shit, the stores. Only bread in the grocery store was multigrain. It was kind of funny, honestly. I'm like, all this white bread and stuff gone, multigrain just fucking, no one wants it. But some, I'm like, you guys seem to not be stocking what people are buying. I don't know then. Like, is that not how it always is then? I don't know. Maybe it was just happenstance, but it looks like there's some teeth in there. Up, down, up, down, up, down, across. Like a boundary of an ammonite. Something going on up there that's definitely related to an eddy. Definitely some currents passing through here. I like the idea that the current was going this way, running into this current up here, and then running into another current like itself over here. Generally from the same source, I guess. Current flow across it. That probably was going on over here too, like all across and all generally across, maybe. With like some counter currents. Some kind of nail type thing. Okay. Let's move on. Holy frick. I think I did talk about this one before. Okay, now I'm remembering I talked about this one. Okay. This one? Maybe I talked about. Maybe not. I don't know. It's kind of clicking through to see what the images look like in general. Interesting there. This is interesting. So, one thing I notice about this immediately. Let's pull up another Shaligram. It will be worth finding a comparable example. I mean, maybe that's good enough. So here, like we have structure here, but we obviously have structure out here where the Shaligram is much more subtle. It's just matrix in appearance. Obviously, we can see more clearly there's like actual ribs out here where that's not always the case. Like sometimes we just see like a chakra here with the lobe going up that way. Lobe over here. And then this. But then notice this. Like and then even I mean, it really is like the whole freaking structure practically, possibly even higher, but then like it doesn't seem to be as obvious there. But like this, so if we use this image as a like reference point, interestingly, one thing I immediately noticed as I was doing this is kind of forming like chakras. With this side having like a difference, maybe even, I don't know. Like the angles of this, especially right there, the way that is, really reminds me of a chakra, like forming up top this. Like this one. Which I'll just pull up here, I guess. If I know where it is, it's been a while. I don't know if I can find it like this. Might have to find it like this. Probably to here. Here's another one. So we see like this. See this. But then over here we see the same shape. In here. So like almost like a chakra would be here, like going out with the lobe that way. And then over here it's kind of doing it in the same way, like a lobe out this way. So like kind of some kind of chakras between this, because they're not there. There's a chakras down here, lobe here, chakras up here, lobe, like maybe pseudo-ish lobe here. Interestingly, this actually like goes up. I never noticed that. It just is like forced upward even. Wow. Where this doesn't look so forced upward, but it still is doing the like the stacking of things. Or sometimes they can go sideways like that one that just was there. Where is this? 770. I would have taken forever to find it. If I even didn't give up. Okay. So like this one has the chakra going across, but then it kind of cuts down over that way, like chakras do, kind of like this. Like if this chakra goes down over, it would be totally normal. That's what chakras do. But sometimes they also extend out sideways and extend longer, more like to wrap back around at that point. So in this case, we distinctly, I would say distinctly have chakras here, in spite of that this is the actual chakras at the top that are like the dominant chakras, because not only is it chakra in appearance and like subtleties of it, but it's above this, which is very common in shaligrams. Like, for example, like this, where certain like portions of the energy align with one another. They're not always atop one another. Like this one, very much doing the same thing as that last shaligram we saw too, with like a bunch of different ammonites all like overprinting one another and vying for territory on the stone. Chakras, but like it could have stopped here and gone across. It could have stopped here and gone across, etc. But it kept going. It even kept going here. Like, how big was this ammonite? How big was it? Was it here? Did you think the ammonite was this big when you first saw the stone? Or are you like, well, that's not part of the chakra, and I don't really know that this is either. So there. There. Ha. In one. Okay. Pardon me for all of whatever. We'll say mockery, maybe. I don't know. Notice the current down the middle specifically. These ones are not stacked directly, but sideways, but makes me wonder. That one's just cool. In line across chakras. I believe that's the chakras. And it's like in line with the center, basically, like where this path right there is. Like this structure in line with there. And this crack. I think there's a crack. Layered, okay. Layered but sideways, where it depends on energy. Layered but sideways, but layered atop. Like this one's side, like main chakra could be chakra. So my guess would be this could erode over here too, and start to create a chakra while removing this chunk to create a void, and then shaping the chakra to create a chakra. Could happen as the energy of a vortex, I guess, propagates. Like it could form the chakra over here and make that one just like undone, like overprinted by eroding around it, basically. Which may be a common feature for how all those disc ones form. Like if a chakra forms here and then erodes out this way, A lot of ammonite or shaligrams are found where it's just like a negative of a with a little disc. Like this. A chakra, just a chakra, and then a disc. Get flattened around the sides, kind of rounded like a bowl. Chakra. Whoa. I wonder. And I wonder. Okay. Dude. And we can definitely see this one going out this way. That's cool. I totally see the chakra. Still see it. Especially the bottom one has different tiers. Like the top tier is like a little pillar on the top. But the point is this one extends to the boundary in its entirety of its, like, it extends to the boundary of this other eddy. And mind you, I should probably point this out. This here is evidence of an ammonite lobe out here, because it's very common. Let's see. Maybe. What was I looking for again? Oh yeah. I thought it might be in this folder at least, but it's not. Just trying to do. Here's a square one I mentioned in a previous episode. Ammonite on one corner, ammonite on another, ammonite on another. Different varieties. This one's tiny. This one looks real, like big old ribs, like almost maybe this whole thing was part of a larger ammonite, but then it was like opening over here to, like, because of a eddy in there, presumably. That was like bulging out this corner, this interacting with this, so maybe not able to, like, and the other one to be dominant enough to take form over other pressures, I guess. Another one with like a slice chakras. Is it, if you saw this in person, would you say that's a tiny ammonite? Like, you can kind of see the boundaries over here, interestingly. So the chakras are going this way. Fully going that way. And then there's a lobe out this way and a lobe out this way. But then it's just sliced in a way that it goes right to the chakra. So the chakra continues up this way and like dot lobe back around. That didn't form because it only formed like this portion of it. And it was in the boundary, like the edge of a small stone relative to the structure that would have like formed. What else? this current generally it goes around the while this eddy is happening, current is going up and around and down and around, and sometimes running into each other to then flow along that central path that we've pointed out a couple times. So that would suggest here that this current, instead of going like this way, back around, actually went this way. Oh. Seems like it might have been trying to form a larger chakra downward here too. Okay. This is that one I just pulled out over here. So cool. I don't know how we got to this one though. Oh. Okay. Oh, I think I just saw something more in the path I was looking for, like where the currents are getting through, they're basically making holes, and notice like this is clearly a structure because it extends out here, but it's not really that clear because we don't see it up here. It broken, whatever bullshit explanation modern science has didn't fossilize whatever reason. But really, like, exhausted pressures didn't erode because pressures were exhausted. So the structure could not grow to a larger size. That's fascinating. It makes me think of Hurricane Milton, which is interesting, as crazy and concerning as it is. It's also interesting because it's going to be it was a 5, it might still be a 5, I don't know. Intensify to a 5. Yeah. But they're saying it's then making landfall as a 3, and they're basically saying, well, it will become a 3, not so much because it's making landfall as it's like that too, but as it's like growing in size and distributing around a larger area. I believe someone also mentioned it's like crossing a jet stream. So it's almost like it's being fueled maybe by this jet stream, but in being fueled, it is growing to a point where then it like gets another lobe like outward, but then it doesn't have necessarily the energy that it once had, so it drops in like energy but grows in size. So it's like a larger system, so more energy in it, but it like stabilizes back out. So like I'd imagine it could do that indefinitely, where like whoa, I thought someone was looking over my shoulder. I was like, what the fuck is that? No, it's just this thing playing here. It's just old Joe here. I don't know his name, sorry. It's okay. But like it doing, that's why I tried to scroll down actually. Where it grows and then like drops in energy, wind speed, but could have theoretically like grow. It pushes out its boundaries by some kind of like energetic growth spurt that pushes out its boundaries. But then all of its energy is expanded, so it drops in energy, but it still has like something that made it push out its boundaries. So if this flow of energy into it that made it push out its boundaries is strong enough to then fill those boundaries, then it could like grow again. Not saying it wouldn't, not specifically Hurricane Milton. I'm just saying like the concept would seem reasonable that it could just like cycle in that kind of manner where it grows and then loses wind speed, but then gains energy in a contained area on that other pressures are kind of pushing into being also by just the air pressures from like the polar pressures towards the equator that, and just pressures of the winds, etc. They're just holding it in place, containing it, that then it pushed out those boundaries, or will push out those boundaries as it grows, but then it will presumably begin to oh, that's good. So already lost 15 miles per hour as of this 10 minutes ago updated. Fucking like, please don't be too strong. If you got hit here, don't be too strong. Weekend. Weekend. If you got spread out, affect a larger area, which sucks, because it's gonna be strong still. That's the thing. Like, it's still gonna have a broad area of influence, a broader area than it would have if it didn't like drop in speed. But because it's dropping in speed by this increase in overall energy, well, because it's growing, it's dropping in speed. That is. Why did I start talking about that? Because of some shaligrams. Let's just keep looking at this. Incredible. I mean, it's pretty simple, basic of a shaligram relative to some. I'm like, how much is it? It's pretty expensive. Pretty relative to some, not, I don't want to say it's expensive for me. It is for me. This is crazy. Whoa. It looks almost like whatever's going on over here is suddenly smeared out over here. I'm sure it's just like in the shape of the ammonite. But and then it's got like this divide here. Okay, that's that one. Let's probably look at this one. I think it's worth looking at. I don't remember exactly what the details are. Let's go ahead and click through. So that's kind of its general surface overall. Looks like it's got some ribs over there. Really good striations on its surface that are, in my opinion, difficult for modern science to explain. We'll just ignore them. That's probably what they do. They just ignore them. It can't be though. There's definitely people who study shaligrams, like, how do they ignore them? They must have some generic explanation of water currents and then ignore them. But they're so incredible sometimes. Like this one. I mean, it's literally wrapping around the top, generally wrapping around the bottom, and then it has a strong belt tightened around its waist. That's not what river currents do. Not what river currents do, that's my point. Even these striations. It's just not possible for river currents to do this. Let's move on from that. Okay, so then it's got pretty interesting chakras. Interesting chakras, kind of reminiscent of what I would call spraying centers. Corkscrew spraying center. Start this end. It's got one side a lot of the time. Not always. That's more like this, and then the other side more like that. It can, interestingly, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. I'm like, is this the... Oh, wow. This is another one. It's not the same one. Okay. Like this. Like this. Okay, you can see the chakras at least. Got like holes in the chakras. Like, what? The fuck? It's really like showing its skeletal framework, internal structure in ways that don't typically get seen. Okay, let's keep going though. This one has one on this side and this side. At least one of these, like, what I would interpret almost as like a pushed mass. Or sprayed mass. One, two, and then 0, 1. I'm just wondering as I do that if there's any like relationship in like in a chemistry atomic structure kind of way. One to that side. This one's got several though. So it's almost like it does it multiple times. Okay, you get the points. You get the points. Seems reminiscent of that one. I love how this pyrite is. How incredible. Just bleeding through. Not sure why it would be bleeding through. Because it's usually like the last thing removed of something, I feel like. So unless it was just like especially stripped, but not of shale and other like finer grain particles, I guess it's possible that the stone has a lot more of this pyrite type stuff than it appears when it's coated in shale. Like over here, it probably is full of it. It's just got shale coating in. I suspect. The way the lines just abruptly change is so cool. Boop, boop, boop. Looks like little teeth at the top of that. Like these. Going that way, but then it's kind of running into itself. Crazy. Oh my god. Chakra here. Lobe. And like big ol' lobe. Central thing in there. Another like sort of chakra there with lobe, so it's kind of like chaining them along there. Probably because the current's going from two directions here. Inside the ammonite structure itself. The eddy. Inside the eddy. Okay, so that's pretty much all that's going on here. It looks like that line wraps all the way around, I guess. This must be this. So it wraps around as a single path and then rejoins it. I imagine here. I don't know. It's hard to say. It seems like it might go to over here, though, looking at it. So if it does, it's unclear, so I don't know. But because there's like an actual path there, it kind of suggests maybe there that like it tried to go back here. This is more normal, like this chakra over up, like making a bigger chakra up there. This side is forming chakras down here, like right here. That looks like a chakra. The way like we already saw it, but the way it looks, we saw it here. I guess it just looked a little more pronounced there, maybe. Like there, it looks pretty good too. There, it's just the way the curves are look more clear like this. these 3 tiers. 1, 2, 3. And then maybe 4, I don't know. Okay. This one's incredible. They're all really something. I should take a smoke break or something. I'm just tired though, I don't care. I don't care. Oh, wow. So, is this eroding? This is really interesting. Now I notice. Holy crap. Is this eroding? It's kind of like what I just had there before I got rid of it. But like, could this be pointing to like a chakra here region that it could have like formed a chakra type structure that actually would have had the currents wrapping upward. No, I guess it's hard to really draw upward, like towards us in a way that basically imprinted a negative of an ammonite on the surface here. Like it could be like a dominant recessive kind of thing where that was one potential, but it also like the actual reality that happened in here. The eddy went inside and eddied at like a lower layer within the stone underneath this. And that was like the stable eddy, or like the dominant eddy, I guess. Like eddy here, and then stone, but then another eddy actually got in underneath that, and that eddy was like where the pressures were like balancing at the most. So that was where like the more current was going. It like passed through this eddy more so to get to this eddy location, because it could like freely do that relative to up here, I guess. And so that this is like the balance point where the eddy here forms. But again, like it's not so simple. Like it was forming an eddy in there, but then like it's extending down around the stone like this way. So it's kind of starting to like off of like the balance point at the center here, really. Like off of this balance point, like starting to create like chambers. At even a lower level that maybe are really like acceptable as cross sections of this one, like the eddy from in this layer really extended down here and wrap back around, like do out of there back around, and made lobes, lobes that then became chambers out like this that then became eroded to then be as they are. So it's possible. I'm just thinking, like, does it even need to go through those steps, or could it just like use the surface that's there? Like, imagine this surface being eroded into, like, over here where it starts to form an opening. That has an eddy with chakras inside like that. Like, those currents could maybe overflow. And maybe run into some cross current where then they like go back through and come out through like path here that's kind of like wrapping around the ammonite structure out beyond a certain point to then create a specifically this way in here actually and out here. Is that what I was saying? I'm losing track. If that's not what I was saying, then disregard that, but I don't even feel like thinking about it, kind of losing track, I guess. Let's keep going though, because clearly that's a promising thing to say. Something I don't see in this one that I can see a little better here that I didn't see before particularly is this continues like over here, and then this path here seems to be related. So it's kind of got, let's say, like if like assume connect there, although also up here. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's very subtle if there's anything in some of these areas. But just a thought. Okay. Also, these things are incredible on this Shaligram. Like, what? Unfortunately, I don't know how in focus they are. Like, there's a divide that's freaking this thing. Goes across, and then has like a tiered chakra like there, and then like there as well, so like both kind of going on. And then just the hard boundary out here. And then again, hard boundary with a chakra, like, I don't know, chakra-like thing. And then the nucleus type region that's surrounded. This one. So what is odd is tends to be this little circle, like point at the center that has like a crack through it. Not every single one, but enough to suggest some kind of energy out of the chakra location, like literally like swirling currents that then run into it and get like ramped up and maybe even push this chakra into being out of here. and then go that way. But like swirling currents where essentially nozzle, something of this nature is forming. Those were maybe not the best picture, actually. Now I realize what we're talking about. It's related, it's just a broken shell. It's these. What we just looked at were these, but then just with the stone broken and internally exposed. And notice the difference and the similarity. It's got the little tab here, it's got a little center. This one has this spiral around it that starts off of here, off the tab area, goes around, and wraps around it, showing it's a much bigger structure than even this central thing, because it's an eddy going through and down through the stone to create a baculite type structure. But then sometimes it's just like this. Instead, it doesn't erode it out all the way. It actually just strips, apparently, like the shale out of it. Leaves behind other materials based on how the current flowed. Okay, guys. Maybe I'll just check out this one. I don't think I've looked at this one. Nope. I have not looked at this one again. It kind of can see, like, it looks like maybe this boundary, but it also obviously goes out there. But just that idea that, like, sometimes people would argue it's not there because it would be confusing. And this looks kind of like a chakra again. But like this one. Wow, look at how that divides and just cleanly goes this way. Wow, this cleanly goes up that way. That's incredible. Oh my god, it's got ripples like the teeth, like, but like larger spaced. Let's just get over to Nepal real quick. Okay. Wonder if they've updated this. Here's Damn It Arcoon, where shaligrams originate. Having shaligram features, this does look like a new image, maybe. Nice. A new image. Cool. Lots of shaligram features, including the whole of it, where there's like a chakra here with lobe going out this way. This is like a lobe with chakras generally here. Over that way, it's very hard to see at that point. But the point is at the boundary are these little ones. But then interestingly, there's like one, like there's more periodic ones that the smaller ones combine into. That's my point. That like this is the shape of the like these teeth, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, along this boundary. It's the same thing as what's going on right there. Specifically that. Why is it eroded like that? Wow. How much is this? This must be up. Sold. 15,000 seems kind of low. It looks really big. That's why I asked. It looks kind of like a larger Shaligram. Actually, it probably says its dimensions. I think yep, 3.5 by 3. Usually lists their dimensions, I think. It's hard to say what else is going on. This is pretty far away. We've got interesting shapes as usual. Some erosion. Some kind of like stopper at the leading end here. A place where current flowed into with a general cross current. That's probably more at this angle, or maybe actually at this angle. Being like a backstop for how far the current can go back this way. I don't know. I'm just kind of supposing in those things I just said. I didn't really think it through. Wow. The deep suture patterns. Look how eroded it is. It's so eroded, and yet deep suture patterns visible. That's crazy. Like, I feel like they're too deep. Like, seeing the ribs too. There's ribs there. Like, they are so in the stones, like eroded ammonite, that they really should be, if anything, more like maybe that. Forgot I'm big. Like the way it's just kind of in it, like a cross section more. It looks like this is on it and like through it. On it. Why is it on it? Doesn't make sense if it's like clearly eroded here. Clearly eroded. Incredible Shaligram. Clearly eroded. It's forming these in like the equatorial, above the equatorial current here. It's flowing along this path. Above it, but below like the top, in that space between them where it's running into cross currents, I guess. Like it's leading to eddies, periodic eddies that like ramp up across this. Incredible. Damn, how do I stop? They're so cool. Maybe we can just see if any are worth, like... Maybe we could just... Bro, everyone you click, you don't want to talk about. Oh... The way this wraps around. So it's like doing this back and forth energy this way, this way, this way, this way. And so moving sideways too, kind of going across this way. Which reminds me, let's see, is it this one? No. Which one is it? We gotta find it. It's unassuming. I think this is the one we just looked at. Not that one. Maybe this one. Nope. Wow. Oh my god, this freaking... Stop it, dudes. That nucleus is dividing in half with little teeth. Just like, oh my fucking god. It's like a little too wide. It's being pushed apart. It really looks like really tall relative to the width in here. To the point where it's kind of like would make sense that it would be pushing that open to like divide the nucleus. Whoa. Another tier that was trying to form this way and over there, real subtle. Oh my god. The freaking thing with, oh my god. I'm not crying, you're crying. Oh my lord. Okay, so that was awesome, but not it either. I don't think it's this one, but might as well check it out. This one's got an interesting little point to the general shape. Another point to there. Definitely some eroding around, like a belt kind of current, relating probably flowing towards us because of the way this is being pushed, kind of smearing the other cross currents forward to a later point as it pushes them, and then as they pass it and go back. Weird chakras. Subtle imbalance across this maybe too, like the chakras are. Another of those lines in the back there, down the middle generally. Okay, not that one either. It might be this one. Okay, this is it. So, ammonite, 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 ammonite. I'll just glance in this. I was just making sure before I went through everything. But the way I was mentioning, these go this way. So if we draw this, if we just go like this and basically maintain contact the whole way. It might fuck up, so I can't do that, but maybe I can. Maybe I can. At least that, and maybe even dot 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 dot. Notice how this goes over, back, over, further, back maybe. Definitely related process. Whereas like forming eddies and nooks, kind of just forming possibly like ribs like this, the teeth, these type of things. I believe that makes sense. I can't even remember. Yeah, generally towards something like that, but where this is maybe not as balanced when it's like growing like this, going sideways. So it was here, then it was here, and maybe etc. Like if it wrapped back, it would probably wrap back to something like that, and then have chakras like this. And maybe based on this side's eroded, and this side is a void, this side is a void, this side is eroded, so maybe it might go void closer towards the center actually, so had another one formed. Maybe this side would have been more eroded than this side, or vice versa. My guess would be the one more towards the center of this face. So like void, made a void, and then just subtly eroded a boundary on this side. Not even the whole boundary, more like these that are just like following this path. And then around, and then again done it, where there's a chakra. If it just had the space to do it, and etc. So maybe also over here would potentially could do another like that with the chakra. Okay, you get the point. That's interesting. I kind of just made sitting man or whatever. Squatting man image. No, not that. Okay, high squatting. I don't know what I was expecting to get. Holy crap. Squatter man. I mean, if I drew this more, I would basically drew a line and then a chakra. That could be drawn like that, but it could also be drawn like a chakra is, which is more like that basically. So having like a chakra on both sides type of structure, but then where this kind of just goes down through, and then another chakra, which is gonna have like that kind of thing. So interestingly, the arms and the feet are a little different. Okay. I gotta go. I'm tired. No one's here right now to particularly whip me into staying. So, see you guys around. Hopefully I don't freaking. Who knows though? I should really be trying to save stuff, but I got it on YouTube and Rumble, specifically Rumble. Mostly. Enough of my stuff is on the Rumble. And so even if I lose YouTube at some point, like Twitter, that's good. According to them, according to interpretation now, it will be a 4 out there and a 3. Apparently making landfall a couple hours later than previously anticipated. A 2. 2's like whatever. Next to a freaking 5. I don't want to deal with 5. 3, fine. 4 and 5, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with it.